Hi guys, so it's been a while since I have actually clocked in with you guys, and yeah, I did that video where I said about trying to post once a month and this, that and the other, but do you know what, life just really got in the way. Work has just been so busy that I just haven't had time for anything else. For those of you that also follow me over on Simply AJ, you'll know that the posts have really slowed down again. And it's simply just because I'm getting in from work anytime between 6 and 8 o'clock. And by the time I've got in, sorted my tea out and finished sorting and tidying and whatever else, I just have no energy left. Like it's just ridiculous. And obviously with the colder weather and the darker nights, darker mornings, it's getting a lot harder, especially obviously with my JHS, because obviously the cold really starts affecting that, and obviously the arthritis this year as well. So I have noticed that I'm struggling a lot more this year with the weather change than I have done previously. Now I know obviously we had the better summer, but I'm still noticing that I'm finding it a lot worse. Surprisingly, my joints, they're actually okay. In fact, I don't think I've had a bad day since the day after the Great North Run, which is really good for me. I mean, we were talking about it at work the other day because I was joking with my MD about the fact that last year I, at this point, had about 10 to 12 sick days off, specifically between August and December. And this time, from obviously March to now, I've literally had 2.5 sick days. That's it. Like, I'm doing so much better this year. And I think a lot of that is to do with the training for the Great North Run, and actually obviously training my body to kind of withhold the strain that I can put on it, and I think that's really helped. So as much as I am really tired, I'm a lot better than I have been previously, so I'm not going to knock it too much, but obviously that's why I haven't checked in since that introductory video, and obviously that's why I slowed down on the post on Simply AJ. They're probably, to be honest with you, won't be many more now before Christmas, simply again because the late nights and getting in and having no energy are going to continue right up until Christmas. So by Christmas I'll probably look about 90 years old and be well ready for 2 weeks off. I can't wait until the 20th of December and switch on that out of office for 5 o'clock for 2 whole weeks. That is going to be absolute bliss, but we'll get there. Only 4 more weeks. However, speaking of Christmas, that is what I am coming to you with today. So, as you know, if you follow me on Twitter, me and my mum went to the range and we did a massive Christmas shop. So I got all my decorations, everything this year. This is the first year I've actually bought proper new stuff for Christmas. I decided that I finally wanted to go the whole hog, buy my own Christmas tree and buy all my decorations to go with it, and then I could have my own colour scheme rather than just obviously using the baubles that I'd had. Obviously I've just spoken on Simply AJ about obviously taking out a loan, so financially I was able to this year as well, and I felt like now was the time to do it while I was so sorted financially. Yeah, I'm just so excited. So since I bought them on Saturday, I literally have been so impatient to get these up. I was trying to hold out until next weekend because obviously that's the last weekend of November, first weekend of December. So I was really trying to hold out till next weekend. But do you know what? I just can't anymore. Like, I'm just so excited to get my own Christmas tree up and my own baubles and everything. Like, I'm just really excited. And to be fair, they're also doing my head in my spare room because obviously I'm not going to put them out into the shed because I'm going to need them in another 2 weeks. So I'm not going to go to the effort of taking them out there to bring them back in. So because they're doing my head in my spare room and I'm so impatient to get them up, why not just do it? I did come home from work and spot, in fact I can see it over the road, they put their Christmas tree up today as well, so I figured all the more excuse to be able to do so. But because I did a massive haul, I decided that I would pop on and I would show you what I bought. So there is a bit of a mix in here, some of it from the range, some of it from B&M and some of it from Wilko. I'll say which ones are from where, but most of them will be from the range. Now, apart from the one thing which I'll show you first, everything was under £10. So if you are looking for Christmas decorations, the range is definitely where to go. Honestly, it is a dream in there if you love Christmas, because everything is just colour coordinated. Every aisle has its own colours, like it is just unreal. Me and Mum went in when they first started putting the stock up in there, and we knew where we were coming back to get our Christmas decorations. Like, it was a dream. I think we spent about 2 to 3 hours in there. So if you're looking for Christmas decorations, and if you are a complete Christmas nut like I am, then the range is where you should head. So without further ado, let's actually start. So the first one, which was the only one over £10, is this. So this is my tree skirt, and do you know what, I just fell in love. There is so many to choose from in there. I think there's about 15 to 20 to choose from, but I just had to have this one. So obviously, you know me, I like my greys and my whites, so this was perfect, as well as obviously the design I thought was cute, and the washed felt colour I felt was really nice. It is modern, but with having that rustic feel to it, and that's what I absolutely loved about it. So this I actually got, I think it was $15.99, so it was a little on the pricier side, but as you can see, it's absolutely massive, and it's cute. Who doesn't want one? Also, when I do put batteries in, it is LED. So I'm yet to find out how it's LED, because I can't actually see the lights on it. But yeah, so that's the first thing I say. I'm sure this is $15.99. So that is the one and only thing I bought from there, Christmas wise, that was over £10. So that's the first one. The second thing, which I absolutely adore, is this. So, oh, we've got a little coat. So this, how beautiful is this? So they have a few, again, going with the colour schemes. They had this, I first saw it in a wine red, and I really, really loved it, but there was something about it that didn't automatically make me pick it up, and then I saw this, and do you know what? Obviously, again, grey. It was just so my colours, and it was just everything that I was looking for. So as much as I love the wine red, this one automatically had me reaching on the shelf for it, which is when I think you know that you have found what you're looking for. So $7.99 this was. So I decided that I think this is probably gonna go on my hearth. But yeah, absolutely to die for. That's that one. Stocking. So I bought this and then forgot that I had bought stockings last year. However, obviously the stockings from last year kind of came as a pair. So to be fair, I'm also kind of glad that I ended up buying this. I believe the stocking was just over £4. And again, I loved it. It's the splash of red that I needed, because as you'll see with my colour scheme that I've gone for, there isn't an awful lot of colour in it. So this was kind of my splash of red, my splash of colour. And again, it was that washed out type felt. So again, it's modern, but it's also rustic. So that's that. I got this big bow. So I decided that I wanted something to put on the door. So I didn't want the standard wreath, just because I'm not a wreath person, to be quite honest. So this bow, obviously, again, with my colour scheme, and it's nice and simple and just something that adds a personal touch. I believe, I'm just having a look just to see how much that is. So it was only $1.79. I bought these because I always feel like bows on a Christmas tree just look really nice. So I bought these. There's 4 each, and again, they were only about £1 each. So this. So it's a glitter wreath, and do you know what? I saw it and I just loved it. So it's obviously like brown glitter around the outside and then the stag in the middle, and this was $3.99. And again, I think it's something that I might put on the hearth because I've got like a drop on it, so I think that's something that I might put on there. So the first bauble of all is this lovely little intricate type bauble. So as you can see, it's almost like a kind of lacy type style, and it's just so delicate but so simple at the same time, but obviously still has that detail. Again, I just saw it and I reached for it, which is how you know is exactly what you're looking for. So that was £1. How cute is he? So obviously you can see, so again in my colour scheme, so obviously as you can start to see already, my colour scheme is kind of rose gold, which I'm sure is of no surprise to anybody. And I think he was 69p. This little rocking horse, which again I thought was very nice. I very much love, like, as much as I love my round baubles all kind of uniform and whatever, I do love my little ones that kind of give something to your tree. So he is one of them. He was 89p. And then this one, this is one of the first ones I saw and I absolutely loved. So this is before I'd actually picked my colour scheme. And he, I just think, is absolutely adorable. So again, so it's obviously the deer, and then you've got 3 little robins on the back, and I just think that's so cute and so special. And I think I can't actually work out what type of material it is, but it's definitely like ornament style. He was £1.99, so he was obviously just under £2. I thought I had 2 of these, so obviously another one of those ones. Some icicles. Oh, I thought these were really different. So obviously they're icicles, but within the icicles you can see that they've actually got beads in, again rose gold, and they were just different. Obviously I've seen icicles before and I just think they'll look really nice where there's that odd branch that sticks out and no kind of bauble looks right on them, and I think this is going to be one of them. So I bought 2 of these, and these were £1.89 each. They are glass, which is probably why they're a little bit more expensive. And then this one again, which was I just thought was so cute and so special. Again, it's a glass one. So you can see it's got Christmas trees inside it, and then the deer. And again, it was just one that I saw, and it was just one of those special ones. So I decided, yeah, I just had to have it. That was £2.49, but again, it's one of those special ones. You can't put a price on special ornaments, I don't think. Hello, Myla. So a pack of baubles. So as you can see, there's a lot in there, all my colours. So this was £2.99 and there is 49 in there. Now they're quite small ones, but I also always think that the small ones always fill in those gaps that you can't quite fill in. But they did these, in like every aisle you went down had a different colour scheme. There was always a different colour of these. So if you're looking for multi-packs, this was, as I say, this is only £2.99. I know they're quite small, but you also get 49. So I thought that was a really good price. This baby, so I really loved this. This again doesn't have a price on, but it was only £3.99. And I just thought this would look really nice on my back door. It was also in my kitchen, so it'll be a nice way to decorate my kitchen, and ultimately just make it look pretty. So I thought that would look really nice on there. And then for the top of my tree is this. Now this is literally one of the first things I picked up after my 2 little special baubles. This was the next thing I picked up. I saw it, decided I had to have it, and it's one of the things that kind of implemented my decision on the colour scheme. I mean, as I said, we probably always knew that I was gonna go for a rose gold colour scheme. That is me. I mean, you can look around my living room and know that rose gold copper is my colour scheme. But I saw this and that was it. I knew exactly where I was going with it. This was only $1.99 as well, and I just thought it's such a me decoration that I just thought this would look perfect on the top to top off everything that I've bought so far. So that's that one. So that is the end of that bag. My lights, I had a debate about whether I wanted the white lights or whether I wanted the warm white, and I decided with the colour scheme that I had, the warm white would really give off that glow. I thought with the white light, I felt like it might take away from that a little bit. So as much as I'm more of a cold white fan, I did decide that the warm white would be a lot better. And handy, obviously it comes in this box, so it means that I can take them out and I can put them straight back in when I'm finished. So these were £10, but again slightly worth the price. And also they come in lots of different sizes. So obviously I've gone from the 240, but there was, I believe it was 150, 240, 400, 600, 800, and then over 1,000. So there's lots of different ones to pick from. Depends how big your tree is, depends where you want to put them. Go for it, you can run wild. So yeah, that's my lights. I think that might be it for I did also buy some ornament hooks, just because sometimes I find that the ornaments don't sit right if they go straight onto the branch, so these will hopefully help with any of those that I have an issue with. So I picked these up and these were $2.99 and you get 48 in a pack, so I'm going to try these and see how they go, because hopefully it'll make life a little bit easier on those hard to place branches, especially because obviously I don't know how big the string's going to be on these little ones. Sometimes with the little ones you have little strings and they don't quite go over the branch, so they will be super helpful if that's the case. And then my little birds. So I spotted these at the checkout actually, and I just thought they were so cute. Can you just imagine them sitting on the end of some of the branches? So not quite in my colour scheme because they are red. However, because I spotted them at the checkout, I didn't have time to go back and find any in my colour scheme. But I also think the splash of red in there will look really nice. So we went to Next as well, and I saw their display in there was really nice. They had burgundy baubles, but when I went into Next I couldn't find any burgundy baubles. I looked everywhere else and I couldn't find any. So good old Amazon picked these up. I don't know how many is in here. I think there's 36 if I remember correctly. $12.99. Obviously as you can see they are burgundy. So I think the little birds will sit really nicely with these. I know it's obviously red and burgundy, but the birds are only little and they'll only be spread around the tree, so I think they'll look really nice. So Amazon, $12.99 if you're looking for big packs of stuff. And then we have the stuff I bought from B&M. So these I think are just beautiful. So obviously I already had the big stag from the range, which I know is already going on the hearth, but then I saw these and I just couldn't resist. Again, my colour scheme already matches the stag that I've got, and they were only $3.99, which is really good. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to place them at the minute, but with there being a pair, obviously I can have them at two ends of something. So they were only $3.99. Then we have beads. So one thing in my house is that we never had tinsel on the tree. It was always these beads. So I had red and gold ones last year, but again my colour, there is 18 meters in here and it was for $2.49. So more birds. So obviously having had the little red ones, I then saw these and I just thought these would look really nice. So there is 4 in here, and these were again only £1.99. Basically, as you can see, anything that was in my colour scheme I kind of just ended up buying, but I also just think, again, to go with the red ones, they'll look really nice. Plus they're robins, and one of the things, obviously, if you don't already know, the whole thing about robins is that they are obviously a sign of someone up above looking down on you and making you aware of their presence. When my granddad died, it was the first Christmas after granddad died, and this little, obviously because it being the first Christmas, we were all gathered together, we all decided to have one big Christmas as a family. And I just remember this robin just coming down and perching on the fence right in front of my mum and dad's conservatory after not seeing one in a long while. And it was just kind of one of our family's things where it was just like, granddad's here. So that is, obviously, when I saw the robins, obviously I think these ones are classed as doves. So obviously you can see the slight difference in shape. So when I saw the robins, along with being my colour scheme, it was just one of those things I just had to have. It was almost having like a piece of granddad with me for Christmas. So that is them. And the last one from B&M are these. So a bit like the icicles, they are baubles and filled with beads, so you can see they're moving as I'm moving it around. And to be fair, I don't have any big baubles, and I think big baubles really fill in space where sometimes you don't have anything to fill that space. So I thought these would be really handy, and I just thought they were so modern compared to some of the classic stuff that I've got, and they went with the icicles. So these were £2.99. And then the last place we went to was Next. So I didn't have much luck in Next. I really wasn't impressed with what I saw, to be honest. The display on the outside was really, really pretty, and we popped into there, but we were really disappointed with the little amount of stuff that was actually in Next. Now, we went to the one out in the retail park by the Metro Centre, not the Metro Centre one. And obviously there are bigger ones around, so you guys might definitely have better luck. But there was a very little compared to what we expected, and I always love Next Home, so I was a little bit disappointed with that, but never mind. I did, however, manage to pick another pack of baubles up. So again, these were in my colour, and obviously I thought they would go really well with the smaller ones that I have. So as you can see, they do match on the colour scheme. So I had the small ones and I had the big ones. So that is what I got, and these were £6. So I actually had a gift card for Next, which I've been meaning to use for ages and ages, and just have never found anything that I wanted in there. So I decided that's what I was going to use them on, and this is my all-time favourite thing, and I just can't wait to get this on my sofa. How beautiful is this? So I saw this and I really debated it whether I wanted it, because, you know, it was a cushion and whatever else, but the colour, the design, just everything about it had me just completely in love, and I just thought it was a nice Christmassy thing that wasn't to do with decorating, so it wasn't to do with putting baubles on a tree or tinsel around your fireplace or whatever. It was just a really simple thing just to add a bit of Christmas touch. And obviously, as you can see behind me, I actually have an L sofa, so obviously there's a big part of my room that's not going to have anything Christmassy in it, so I decided just adding this pop of colour to it would be really nice. And to be fair, this is kind of also what inspired me to then go and look for the burgundy baubles, because it would tie in with this really, really nicely. So that is the complete end of my haul of Christmassy stuff, and honestly I cannot wait to start just digging these out the boxes and getting them on the tree. So I will check in with you guys after I have finished decorating. I do have, you'll see my phone up on the mantelpiece ready to do my time lapse, so obviously my time lapse will be next, and then I'll check in with you guys to see how different everything looks. So this is the living room beforehand. Still yet to get this frame with the photos in up on the wall, but I just can't yet decide what photos to actually put in them, which is why it's still sat there. So yeah, so I'm gonna go away, I'm gonna decorate, and then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Hey guys, so I'm checking in now because I have finally put the finishing touches on the living room anyway. I've still got a few bits and bobs around the house to do, but I feel like I'm completely done with the living room and I'm really happy. So I'm going to turn you around now and just show you. So, Christmas tree with my beautiful rose gold star on the top. I'll take you closer to that in a minute. Obviously we've got the tinsel around the TV, and then the hearth and fireplace. So obviously I've got my stockings up, I've got mine, and then there's Mila's tinsel. And I decided that I would put all the stags down on the fireplace, just because obviously up here I've got the A and I've got the heart, so I'm quite happy leaving that as is, and obviously it gave something to the hearth, so yeah, and then the rest is just as is was before. But we'll just go now to the tree. So obviously here's this little cute one I got from the range. And then obviously here is the LED part of the mat I was showing you. So obviously got the batteries in there and got that switched on. I think it looks really cute. So yeah, I am very, very happy with that. Yeah. So just look how chill it is once I've got the lights off. Like, I now cannot wait when I come in from work to just put my candles on, put obviously all my fairy lights on, and just chill out. Like, that is such a, look how good it looks. Like, December is going to be a good month. But yeah, that is it for me.